All right, we're live. Going to give a couple links out here real quick. Hey, everyone. Get started here. Moment. Should be live. Here's Cam. Hey, Cam. Alex is here. All right, guys, we got a lot of stuff we're going to go through today. We're going to talk about productizing your services. I'm going to help get everyone thinking a little differently, get everyone kind of viewing your offerings during this time a little differently. Just give me 1 second. I'm just going to message a couple people. Let me just make sure you guys know this. All right. I'm going to be bringing on a couple guests soon. All right. Can everybody hear me okay? How's the sound? Okay. Richie, Ben? I've got two different screens going on, so I'm going to go ahead and broadcast up here on my page just so I can see. Make sure I turn my volume down over here just to make sure I can double check everything going well. Got an iMac next to my MacBook Pro here. Okay. Hey, everyone. Al's here. All right, we're good. Sounds good. Good. Okay. So we got some stuff we're going to be going through on how to productize your service. And I'm not just going to throw a bunch of information at you. I'm going to give you some examples. But I would grab maybe a notepad and a pen to take some notes, because this is kind of a new way of thinking sometimes for people that are consultants or coaches, or they're in the agency space and they're used to providing services. And maybe, your niche isn't a niche that's buying right now. There's a lot of things that we could be doing to navigate these rough waters. There's no doubt. I don't know where everyone's from necessarily, but I know that on the East Coast here, it's crazy. It's crazy, I think, around the world right now. But it's what we do with that crazy, right? Hey, I see Brett's here. Yusuf, hey, good to see you guys. Gio's here, long time, man. Good to see you on here. I wrote an article about a week ago on 10 pivots for your marketing agency, or for consultants to make in challenging times. And one of the things on there was number 6 that I listed of those 10 things was on productizing your service. And I want to expand upon that in this discussion if we can. So we got some people who are starting to get on here live, and this will be interactive. But we're also going to kind of just deep dive into about 4 different examples of this, maybe more. Hey, Andrew, good to see you, man. Long time. But most, it's interesting to watch how people do what I call turtling up during this, during this crisis right now. And granted, this will go without saying, this is unprecedented. I think it's the only time we've ever been able to actually really use that word, at least in a long time, because it means it's never happened before. But nonetheless, I don't know how many of you are old enough to have been around in 2008, 2009. That was a major economical downturn as well. I don't think it's going to be that's as dramatic as this is going to be, but there are ways to, swim or sink. And so my hope for you is, as you watch this Facebook Live and we have this discussion, and it's going to be a discussion because I'm going to bring in some other guests here onto this, you'll, start thinking about, wow, I didn't think about that being a possibility for my business. most of the time, it's just because somebody didn't challenge your thinking. And that's part of what I want to do. One of the things I thought I printed out and I did not put next to me, was a couple of notes I had, but one of them was, it's not about the cards we're dealt, it's how we play the cards that we're dealt. People take polar responses. They clam up, they let fear take over. And how many of you have clients that are fearful right now? Okay. My guess is any of you who serve clients, and everyone on here probably is a agency owner or a consultant or a coach of some sort, you have clients that are fearful. And so this is the time to be that leader that they may not even realize they needed or were looking for right now. And I actually think that this is the best time ever to get in front of prospects, not because you're, desperate for new revenue in your business, but because you have this genuine desire to help them see what the other side of this could look like for their business if they were to engage with you in one way or the other. One of the things I wrote in my article was, aside from productizing your service, was you could defer client payments. And there's lots of different ways that you can do that. Sometimes you don't need to. I have a client prospect right now. They're awaiting I actually have a proposal presentation with them tomorrow for a consulting project. Not once did, not having the budget or being, really careful about spending money right now come up, because they're in a niche that it happened to be a niche that, this isn't impacting them. There are a lot of niches that are not being impacted as negatively as you think. And that might mean you have to pivot and start focusing on a different niche than maybe what your services or what you normally would go after. But that's not really the basis for this discussion. That is one way to pivot. Another way, though, is to figure out, and I've been preaching this for a long time, for years, actually. I first did it with restaurant marketing by packaging it into a coaching program and an online program that restaurateurs could purchase from me. And that's when I first started talking about productizing your services but I'm going to give you unique ways to do it here. And we've got some people that I invited on to, hey, Dr. Holt, I'm glad to see you here, who are willing to come on here. So let's dive right in. So first of all, let me give you some ways to think about this concept. Okay. If you offer coaching services, consulting services, or agency services, there's a few different ways you can productize your knowledge. Okay. Chances are, something that your clients don't know, which is why you're in business. I always say, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. I don't know who actually that quote is ever credited to, and it's always listed as unknown. But at the end of the day, you have an opportunity to serve clients right now in unique ways. And I did a video on YouTube about it. I did it in my blog post. One of those unique ways is productizing your service. And so here's some examples of how you do it. So I'll bring on, we got 3 guests who we're going to be bringing on in a moment. So the first one I'll bring on is Corey Barnes, who's in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And Corey's here. Corey, I'll introduce you and I'll bring you on. So Corey was a marketing agency owner a couple of years back, and I'll let him tell a little bit more about his story and kind of what he did. Came to my event, got to know me through my programs and courses, started a Facebook group, grew that to, I think it's over 15,000 people now or close to it, in Chattanooga, Tennessee, which that area of Tennessee has been devastated, not just by the crisis of the pandemic that we're in, but also by recent tornadoes that hit the area. But in the midst of creating a Facebook group of business owners, I would probably say, maybe I'm guessing here, about 80% are business owners in the Chattanooga, Tennessee and surrounding metro area. He also created a unique product. And so I'm going to, that kind of productizes, his way of serving clients and really could lead clients to his other services if you so choose. So I'm going to bring him on here. I'm going to add you on here. Hey, Corey.
Hey guys, how's it going? Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you, man. How are
Good.
you?
Good, Joe. Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate you having me here.
Do this for everybody's sake, okay? Give a little quick background, like keep it fast.
Sure.
Let's talk about, and I can even share my screen here and share it.
Sure.
Your product how did you productize your service? Let's start with what you first started doing with the group.
Sure. So a few years ago, I launched a Facebook group. I was looking, actually, it was your idea, Joe. I was looking through an old notebook of ideas to get new ways to prospect. And one of which was to start my own Facebook group. Your city's name and then small business networking afterward. In my case, Chattanooga Small Business Networking. And made the group private. And I started inviting members of my chamber group or people that I was in chamber with, and also BNI into the group. And I started running giveaways, and really just went out of my way to really help network people virtually inside of that ecosystem, inside of that group, by tagging people that they should know. Somebody would say, "Hey, I need to talk to Dr. Smith over here in this part of town." And what I would do is I would tag that doctor if I knew him, and then I would kind of bridge that connection through the group. So we started off with just a few members. Now I'm proud to say we're about 16,000 members, like what Joe was saying, 80% business owners. And then there was a large demand in the group for me launching my own business directory, kind of like an online business resource for people to search for vendors, like an Angie's List type of thing. And I launched that last August. And we've got and we got 1,200 businesses that have signed up for it. And then we have different tiered packages that they can sign up for. We have a free plan, we have a $25 plan, and we have a $100 plan. And each plan gets them various features and bonuses and things like that. So we've recently signed up. I think we've got about 80 preferred vendors, which is the $100 plan. So and that's the website. And the software I use is called Brilliant Directories. And it's a one-time purchase. There's no monthly fees associated with that. And
what does it cost? This not a monthly service?
You have that option initially. Bought it out. I think it was like $500 one time. A really good deal.
Yeah, or you could pay a small amount monthly.
Yeah, it's like I think it's like similar to ClickFunnels. It's $70, $100 a month, something like that.
Yeah. So you want to explain to me what this is now? So because one of the things we were talking about when I was talking with you first about your creating this, I said you really got to get the people off of Facebook, because if you can get your list created outside of Facebook, that becomes your asset that you can now market other things to.
Right.
And the directory kind of came out of that. But can you explain the program? Like what is it now? Like what does this do for people?
Yeah. So our Facebook group itself has, like I said, 16,000 members, and it's kind of taken its own form of its own. And what it is that people can ask for recommendations inside of the group. I need a plumber. I need a roofer. I need a photographer this weekend, that type of thing. And initially I was just tagging people that I knew, but I saw that there was some potential opportunity to make a lot of money here off this. And I knew the directory was a way to take payments and structure it. So the directory itself, people can list their business there. So for instance, say Joe's looking for a plumber. He says, "Hey, I need a plumber. Who do you know?" What I'll do is I'll tag our preferred vendor or the person who's paying me $100 a month inside of that comment thread. I'll say, "Donnie, hey, Joe, I'd like to introduce you to our preferred vendor, Donnie. He's a plumber and he can help you." And what I'll do is, so then Donnie gets the notification in his Facebook notification bar, and I also send them back to the website. So you can not only can you find what you're looking for in the Facebook group, but you can find people through the online directory as well. So they pay me for those leads.
So you found a way to tie the directory service with your existing Facebook group that you built.
Right.
How long did it take you to get your Facebook group to, let me just say, 5,000 people?
It took, it's a good question. I don't know, 3 or 4 months. Giveaways were big.
You did a lot of giveaways.
Gift card, hey, I'm going to give away, or I'll give money away. Like a lot of what you taught in your programs. Hey, tag friends or invite friends into the group who would benefit by being here. I'll give a $100 gift card.
When did you hit the 10,000 mark?
That was probably last fall.
So like how much time from beginning to end to a year?
Yeah. 9 months, a year. Yeah.
Yeah, if people would have the patience, I want people listening to this. If it took you 9 months to a year to get your Facebook group of primarily of local small to medium sized businesses, and some are going to be too small that you would ever service as a client, but the intention isn't just for you to build a group of a bunch of potential clients. It's to build a group, a community of business owners who could actually help refer each other, almost like your own BNI on Facebook. But the directory takes it one step further. So do people can, so you now have a product, which is your Chattanooga Small Business Networking, your CSBN Connect group.
Yep.
And that, and people can sign up for free on it, right?
Totally for free, or there's the premium plans. Yes.
Okay. And what are the premium plans?
So the mid-tier plan is $25 a month, and that gets them listed second in the directory. I've also launched CSBN University, which is similar to Tai Lopez's program, where he has all the various teachers. I brought in a credit repair guy. He's done modules for me. I've done financial literacy and things like that, social media marketing, and I've created that content. If you're a preferred vendor or the mid-tier plan, you get access into those training modules. So it's kind of a throw-in as well. And then the preferred vendor plan's $100 a month, and that's where I tag you in the Facebook group. You also get ranked to spot #1, and you can list your jobs and classifieds and blogs and SoundCloud and all of that as part of your monthly subscription.
Really cool. And you've built this to approximately what residually right now per month?
So I launched it in August of last year, and we've
not even a year.
Not even a year. It's probably doing. We also sign up annual plans, not just the monthly $100 plans. You can pay $1,000 one time, and that gets you for 12 months. And we do 2 or 3 of those a month, so we factor that in. It's probably, I don't know, it's $8,000 to $9,000 a month in revenue, mostly passive because
Yeah. So I want everyone, if everyone's watching this, this is even if this, imagine what this, think about this for Corey. Let's say Corey did rely significantly on his agency revenue, which he does not. He does not spend as much time with his agency stuff as he now does with this stuff. But imagine if anyone here had, something like this, in addition to complement or supplement their agency, you now have something that's recurring and residual that people aren't as anxious to back out of because the commitment's pretty small. I mean, the most someone pays you for this product is $100, right?
Mm-hmm, that's right.
Per month. And so it's easier for them to keep that expense, especially if they think, well, that's a lifeline to potential revenue. I don't want to cut that off. So when someone's thinking about, expenses they're cutting, they're cutting software and they're cutting these subscription plans, but a subscription plan that could be a portal for 1 or 2 clients a quarter for some of these businesses is not worth them cutting. So that's why, you shared with me, your directory is not losing revenue. You thought maybe it was going to at first, but it's not really going backwards. It's going forward, right?
Yeah, we've had the best month ever this past month. And, one thing I'd like to point out, Joe, is something you brought up several weeks ago in one of your calls, was that try to reframe the customer's experience with you as that you're there to help them survive this pandemic by your offerings and how you can get them new customers. And I think in this particular instance, just a mechanism for that.
Yeah, super cool. So here, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
What I applaud Corey for, Corey spoke at my January event on how to build a Facebook group, and you're welcome to drop your, you have a free webinar training on that. I know if you find that link, drop it in here so people can learn how to build their Facebook groups. You're more than welcome to share that. But Corey is somebody who took action on several things. Number one, he's one of the few people, that ever go through courses and programs and does exactly as he's coached. A testament to him, not me. I can I can lead horses to water, but can't make them drink. And Corey's an example of somebody who takes it and runs with it, and it honestly adds his creativity to it. He's one of the best I know at getting people to engage in social posts. You're definitely one of those people. People say, I would like to help somebody and hopefully they become a lot better than me. That's where you're at when it comes to that kind of stuff. So the way that you engage people in your Facebook group is admirable. The way that you run your contests and giveaways. I'm going to keep pushing you to keep driving those giveaways to people to get on your list. But man, you know how to grow your group, and it's really really powerful. The other thing is, when I was in discussion with Corey about how do you productize and get your business and get people off of Facebook into a service or a product, and the directory conversation came about, just so you guys know, it was like a week later. I think I showed you Brilliant Directories, or you showed me, maybe. I can't remember which one of us found it, but like a week later, you already had it like built. Like, because it's pretty out of the box, right?
Very easy. Within 10 minutes, you can have the whole thing up and running.
So anybody watching this could have their own local community business directory that starts off for free as a way for people to be networked. You can also make it very niched if you wanted to. It could be just for your niches that you service, or niches that you may not think that you could tap into. You can use it. So, but how many people here watching this would go, man, if I had an extra $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 residual, I would have a little less stress in my life, or I wouldn't be as worried about, having to wait out this holding period, this quarantine period that we're stuck in. We would, so it's, to me, it was, you're probably thinking, God, you have it, but I want everybody else to understand they still can. They can start building this now. I've already heard people say, this is going to come back around. We might have a virus again in another year. And I'm like, so what are you going to do about it? Like, how will you shift and pivot now? So, awesome share. Corey, anything else you want to add?
One more thing. And I know a lot of people here sell social media services and SEO. I'm looking to introduce a 4th tier past the $100 plan. We talked about this before, Joe, where someone can not only get everything the $100 plan gets, but they also get kind of done for you marketing. And I know a lot of people sell those services. So not only could you do your monthly subscription preferred plan like that, you could offer a 4th tier. The plans, like Joe said, starts at $1,000 a month, and they can get enhanced SEO, and you can hire local freelancers to do some of that for you and keep your margins good. So we're going to be doing that with chatbots next week. I'm excited about that. That's a way to really scale and increase your revenue really quickly.
Really cool. So another thing that you did, just side note for everyone watching. So Corey, when you have a Facebook group that has over 15,000 members in it, and the majority of them are small to medium-sized business owners in and around an area that you live and make your home, and tornadoes strike. Like, I saw you showing up in my feed with, hey, who needs help? Anyone being impacted? I heard this, these houses are being destroyed, or this area of the community, and you were rallying help. Like, and I, first of all, that really, anybody not knowing you, that would earn your respect. You already had my respect, but it just elevated you even more in my book. And there's something else I want to say to that, is that I heard the other day somebody say to me, actually it was Joe Polish. He said, we are I was on a Zoom call, kind of like this, but I was on a Zoom call, and he said, we are the first responders to businesses right now. Okay. Meaning influencers, coaches, consultants, and your group can be perceived that way too. Is that, we're kind of the first, we aren't, in our case, consultants, coaches, agency owners, we're not medical professionals. So we can't help on there, but where can we serve is in this business community. And we can be the first responders to helping some of these businesses think more creatively or out of the box for how they can get business during this tough time, or what they can do in the meantime to mitigate the impact and the effects of it. So, you rallying everybody around the tornado stuff, really cool, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And
help out.
It's like this is the Spider-Man saying, with great powers comes great responsibility. You have a group that big, you probably felt, I have to say something. I have to get on there and post this, but it's just part of who you are.
Right.
Which is really cool.
Thank you.
Okay. Awesome. That was a great share. And I hope everyone, kind of looks at Corey's directory site, because he's not a master designer or developer or coder. I'll go back to the tab here. Whoops. Go back to the tab. He created this site and probably in a couple days, actually, but you probably built it out over, it's been continuous as you continue to build it, but it was pretty out of the box, right?
Absolutely. I went to Fiverr, had the logo made for $20, had a little whiteboard animation created and on the sign up page, and got video testimonies. All that stuff really helps. It's cheap too.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. All right, man. I appreciate you being on here. We're going to, I might have you come off the screen, and we're going to bring in another guest. Thanks for being here, Corey. Stick around. Make sure you share your free webinars. It'd be cool for everybody to see your free training. Okay.
I will. Thanks, Joe.
All right, cool. How was that? Was that cool, guys? For you guys to kind of see how someone took something very unique and very different, but made a real profitable revenue generating business out of it. When, just before August did not even have that put together. And I remember having the conversation. I remember sitting in a coffee shop and I was on, Corey was a coaching client, and I was on a coaching call with him in the coffee shop, and we were talking about what about a directory? And he's like, I really think I can do that. And then the next coaching call we had, he'd already had it done. I was just like, I can't believe you're actually doing the work, man. It's awesome. Andrew Clark, it's so good to see you here, man. AJ's here. Allie's on here. Gerson, what's up, man? How are you doing? I hope everything's good for you up there in the Northeast. All right, let's, I'm going to bring on another person real quick. He's somebody who built a kind of a new system and product in the midst of this crisis, and is really just now starting to make this available to businesses. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, how's it going?
All right, man. I like sprung it on you, and you're like, boom, you're in the room.
Yeah, the dogs are barking. Just trying to get them.
Okay, everybody's working from home right now, so they all can be a little more patient about that.
Oh,
I got kids screaming in the background and running up down hallways. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for bringing it on. Yeah, that's cool.
All right, so a little about Jeff. So Jeff is a social media wizard. So I'll say that he's a superstar, a stud in social media. He grew Can-Am's social media website or a Facebook page to over 1 million people. The engagement through the roof. Spent how long there? How long were you with Can-Am?
5 years.
5 years, and absolutely blew it up. Now he's offering consulting and agency services in that kind of action sports space, but and had created had learned about sales funnels. Suppose those of you that sell sales funnels or marketing funnels are going to really like this. He decided to take that concept of, creating. I always say, don't sell sales funnels to clients, sell marketing systems. Customers don't want services, they want a system. And if you haven't taken my funnel sales masterclass.com, that's what it's on, funnelsalesmasterclass.com. It's a free training on how to sell sales funnels. You should, because I explain this concept of how to at least create the perception in the customer's mind of what real value can actually look like if you map it out as a funnel and a system. And Jeff took that, and then we were kind of brainstorming, well, what if you took, and he created one for his industry, and he then kind of added his own flavor to his marketing system, put his own little twist on it, which I'll let him kind of share and talk a little bit about in a minute. Sorry, Jeff, giving you a long introduction here. And, but I'm gonna give you the proper setup and basically create a funnel. And some of you watching this will go, well, that's really just a funnel. It's unique to what he's doing in his industry, but that's still just a funnel. But to a client prospect, it's very unique. And then I think I might have challenged you to name it. And he named it. And he named it what he's wearing on his shirt, which is called Leah, right?
Yep.
Can you get like close to the camera so everyone can see Leah? Because they might be on their phones.
Yeah.
Really cool logo, very simple. And it stands for what?
Lead engagement app.
Lead engagement app, which Leah sounds a whole lot sexier than lead engagement app. So I love that name. But now you can refer to it as Leah. And guess what that does when you productize your sales funnel and you make it a product that you can sell as almost like an app/system and call it a name, Leah. I'll tell you what it does. I'm going to tell everybody what it does before we have you share here, Jeff. It gives you the only. You become the only. Nobody else can compete with you because you own Leah. It's your brand. It's your product. And now you can command even a higher fee because it's your system that nobody else has. And if somebody says, well, this is, is this similar to this? You say, well, this is a proprietary program and system unique to us that we call Leah. And now they can only get it from you. It's really cool. It's a great way to differentiate yourself. And it's a great way to market really a funnel without having just to call it a funnel. Because guess what all the social media people do, or the social media agencies, or the marketing consultants, or the digital marketers do, is they all sell the same stuff, and they start to commoditize themselves by being no different than the next person who's coming in the group. Now, you did offer a little unique. So, but that was really designed for events, Jeff. So why don't you take it from why you designed Leah, what it was intended for, and then how you pivoted, like literally 3 weeks ago.
Oh yeah, I actually pivoted a couple times actually. So I started this app per se like 2 years ago, and basically I thought it'd be cool to design a system where it was originally for coffee shops. I just got the idea, and then to get reward systems, and it was terrible. Like, people didn't even know they had an app, all this stuff. So I was like, I'll just design my own. And it didn't really catch on just because back then you had to have a third-party app to use QR scanner. That's kind of what killed the QR codes off. But now, I don't know, a QR scanner are all into iOS and Android phones. So you don't even have to have a third-party app QR codes. Well, after working at events, I realized, man, this stuff, setting up iPads and stuff at events for giveaways is kind of a pain. Like, sometimes the iPads are dead, and you forget to charge them, or someone walks off the iPads, or they break. Just a pain. So what I did is I took that technology I put together for coffee shops and applied it to events, and it took off like wildfire. I designed one for like tools. They're giving away a side by side, and people were like, "Holy shit! Like, this is badass! Like, how is there nothing else like this?" Like, I was getting like tons of leads from it, and that was maybe 6 months ago. And I keep creating new configurations, and I was like at the peak of like selling this to a bunch of companies, and all of a sudden the coronavirus hit, and all the races got canceled, all the trade shows got canceled, and I was like, oh boy, now what? Because my whole app was based on events and trade shows, like being in person. These are actually some of the configurations I made. This is the Makita Tools one.
And just to make it clear for everyone, these are cards with the QR codes that allow people to enter to win a contest or giveaway, bringing them into a landing page on their phones, right? Where they give their phone numbers, or they give away their email and name first. And then you're also kind of gamifying the system from that point forward. And we'll kind of talk a little more about this when we show the product that you created when you pivoted, which I think has a lot of potential right now. And you're kind of on the brink of probably making a lot of those sales. I just talked to someone who spoke to you yesterday, and he's like, yeah, all the restaurants need this.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, so that coming to the second pivot,
yeah,
is I'm like, okay, well, all these trade shows are getting canceled. So now I pivoted to, as everyone knows, all the restaurants were closed only just for carry out. So I'm like, okay, what can I do to solve that problem? Is like getting restaurants more orders, because all these restaurants are dying. So the issue is with like these delivery apps, it's costing these restaurants money. It's like they're I don't know, people really don't know it is, but these delivery apps charge the restaurants 20 to 30% commission for all these orders, and they keep all the data that people when people say I order from DoorDash, and the dasher goes to get the order, comes to my house and drops it off. Well, the restaurant has no clue who even ordered that, so they have no way to connect to that person that just ordered their food.
Yeah, even though they take their name and sometimes their phone over the phone, it's only for the sake of for that receipt and the transaction when they come in and pick it up.
Exactly. So another thing too is like going through DoorDash, it's costing them more money. So what my app that I pivoted to is called Carry Out Rewards. And what that does is This is the second configuration for, I just actually dropped this off today for a restaurant. And what that does is even if they order through DoorDash or Grubhub, you name it, the restaurant can staple this to the bag, and then the dasher takes it to their home or wherever they need to deliver it to, and then they see it, the customer sees it, and then they can simply just point their camera at this and scan it. And then once they land on the landing page, that restaurant automatically grabs their information. So they can now retarget to that customer on Facebook, Instagram, and Google. And then it also collects their email address, phone number, and it pushes them into a Facebook Messenger bot, and it collects more data to, like, for example, SMS marketing. So within 2 minutes, you collect 6 or 7 different channels that restaurant can then retarget that customer on, thus bringing in more carryout orders and building more profit.
Okay, so I think I'm scrolling down the page now real slowly, and anybody can go to carryoutrewards.com and see this. We can drop a link in the thing as well. But the simplicity of this, I'm going to stop there on this part of the screen to show how it works in this screen share. The simplicity of this is that I think I'm not sure where that came from. Can you hear me okay? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you're just looking on another screen like I am.
Yeah.
So what Jeff did was he identified a need, a problem, and he saw it, and we all see it, right? I can't tell you how many times I've picked up carryout food, curbside. These restaurants are pivoting, and now they're trying to figure out, like, first of all, they're trying to figure out the new normal, which is some of these restaurants were not built, configured, prepared for curbside pickup, let alone delivery. So carryout wasn't in the cards, and either was delivery. And the last thing they're thinking, because they're trying to figure out, like, how do I even service the customer with quality food in this capacity, in this way? We're not used to that. But aside from that is, well, wait a minute. There's only there's 3 main ways. And I've had dozens and dozens of clients that have been restaurants, as many of you may know, between the years 2014 and the year 2017, around 70 to 80 restaurants kind of came through our agency. And, I would always tell them, listen, you can increase sales by increasing the traffic to your restaurants. That means you got to build awareness, do the Facebook ads, do the things that let people know that you're here, that you have these specials, driving traffic. But the other way you can increase revenues, and at this time, what these businesses need, they need stability. They're trying to figure out how to sustain themselves, not just survive. But survival would be number one in their priority. And then number 2 would be, okay, now how do I build some stable revenue? Well, how you do that is by increasing the frequency of how often somebody comes back to your restaurant. And the way to do that is to remarket to them. So this is what your program does, Jeff, is it helps those businesses to increase frequency, meaning, okay, now you've picked up my order for my restaurant, enter to win my little contest. Here's my little QR code. They can staple it to their bag. Genius, by the way. And you provide them with their QR codes, right?
Yep. Everything is designed for them. So
everything is designed for them out of the box. Okay. And he can send it to them, and they can just scissor cut it or send it to a printer, right?
Yep.
And all they got, and he builds the whole system out for them, which is really, if you guys want to just take it down to the bare bones, it's a landing page that, he has some unique things inside that funnel, which all of you should, maybe we'll have people, go through your system if you want. But if you want to scan this QR code here in a minute. But you go to a landing page, you enter to win, and then it says, thank you for entering. You can spin a wheel. He gamifies it with a little widget where they can get an instant win, like a coupon, 20% off, free appetizer, whatever. They can choose to get notified via text, via Facebook Messenger. So now he's collecting phone number, he's collecting their Facebook chatbot messenger, and he's already got their email because they entered to win. And he's also pixeling the landing pages so they can be retargeted on Facebook now. Absolutely genius, Jeff. So And so here's what my challenge to everyone watching this is that there's a lot of people watch this who go, I know how to make funnels. And I know that my clients need sales funnels or some sort of funnels. What Jeff has proven is that he's pivoted away from, hey, it's not just about the sales funnel. It's about what's a current type of business right now that's struggling and has a desperate gap and need, which is the restaurants. Created this system called Carryout Rewards. So he named this one, but it's powered by Leah, which was his original product. So he productized it twice. Like you said, you pivoted twice. You've given it another name, which is Carryout Rewards. So it's specific to restaurants. And he's offering it for an incredibly, hey, it's like, this time only over the next maybe month or two fee of $500 to the restaurants. So it's a real no-brainer. It covers his costs and makes a small profit still, but you also have a monthly charge of like $20. And also when clients come out of this, okay, and they were able to get this system deployed for their restaurant for as inexpensively as he's practically giving it away for, who do you think is going to be top of mind when when we're past this whole quarantine stage, and now they're like, we got to get aggressive again. We got to get Facebook ads going. We need real help to booster our restaurant. Who do you think is going to be top of mind? I'll tell you, the person who helped them. Now, if you guys know restaurants in your areas that need this, Jeff, I'm going out on a limb here that I know you'll give them a referral commission for referring people to the program.
Yeah.
So there is something in it for you if you refer it, because I don't know a restaurant doesn't need this, but give me a, heck yes, or a hallelujah if you guys think this is a great product idea or a way of productizing your service and being able to sell it as a system. Just so we can see everyone's alive in here. Okay, so Gio says, yeah, hey, Jen's in here. The one and only Jennifer Gitomer, okay. But tell me, put in the comments what you guys think of this, because I think that this is really cool. So I'm going to go back to the thing and maybe scroll down some more on here. The data you collect from people. First and last name, email, phone number, all the retargeting information. They're part of a loyalty and rewards program now. You're getting the Facebook Messenger subscriptions. You're able to generate more carryout orders, increase net profit on the carryout orders. I love that. And you're also giving them some campaign ideas, and you're selling this through a 15-minute demo. Is that right?
Yep. Yeah. It's just book it through Calendly.
Yeah. And then people can book a quick 15-minute demo and they pretty much can see and get it. And when did you create Carryout Rewards? From the time you thought of it to the time it was finished? How long was that? And when did you start it?
Like 2 or 3 days.
2 or 3 days. And now, granted, Jeff has a couple skill sets not everyone has, but that you could outsource to somebody on Fiverr, which is he does understand how to use WordPress.
Yeah. He
knows how to use WordPress. I helped him a little bit with some of the copy because Jeff is also a coaching client of mine. But he did the rest because he has some of those design skills. But technically, if somebody outsourced this for probably under $1,000, they could probably build this thing out themselves. I'm guessing. What do you think, Jeff, if they outsourced it?
They'd have to know what they're doing, but they could.
Yeah, but they could outsource it to somebody, and they could literally show them this system and say, I want somebody else to do it for them. That's on Upwork or Fiverr is what I mean. They could create it. It's the brilliance isn't in this is advanced technology. It's a funnel. It's a system. It's the creativity that went behind it solving a problem, and then his gamification of it internally also, which makes it kind of unique to him and unique to Jeff. But most people don't need something that in depth to get themselves on a version 1.0. This is really like a version 3.0 because you had Leah kind of built prior, so that it was a little bit easier for you to plug and play.
Oh yeah. That's what expedited everything. I just ran with that. I just applied it.
So think of it like this. So Jeff's main market though wasn't selling to restaurants, but let's say for example your niche was restaurants, and you created a way to productize something like this, which was a marketing system to help them increase frequency to the restaurant via carryout orders or curbside pickups or deliveries. Now you have something that you wouldn't charge nearly as much for. Your agency services are much more expensive. but you're still able to create a little cash flow for yourself and still be able to serve a customer market that's struggling right now. That's the point and why I'm sharing this with everybody right now, is that, you have two ways of looking at what your outcome is going to be. You're either going to come out the other end of this surviving, or you're going to come out, and I mean like in survival mode, or you're going to come out the other side with some stability and possibly thriving. Okay, this would allow you to still create some cash flow and be able to mitigate that. So the URL for this, okay, it says never mind, I found it. I see Nadeem asking, you're in Brooklyn, man. My heart goes out to the community there. We have my wife's uncle is in Brooklyn right now and has recently been tested and going through some tough times right now. So we feel Brooklyn up there for sure. She's her family's from New York. Okay, so if anybody has questions for Jeff or Corey, post them in the comments and don't be shy. Okay, because I'm going to bring on another person here. Jeff, thanks for getting on here. I know you're still at the beginning of offering this and selling this. I think every restaurant in the country needs this, to be honest. And I don't think it's going to take a whole lot for them to figure that out if the word gets out there. So I'm going to encourage you to get the word out there more and more. But what a cool way to productize your service. Thanks for being on here, man.
I appreciate it, man.
I'm going to stop the screen share, and then I'll go. All right. We're rolling. We got, we've now talked about how you productize and create a directory service product where you can sell. And Corey showed how he created from his Facebook group. He decided to start his directory site, and in under 10 months grew it to north of 7,000. He says closer to like $9,000 a month in residual income. I don't know about you guys, but if somebody said, I'll give you a choice. You can have $9,000 in residual income or a $15,000 or $20,000 a month. I'm going to take the residual income because that recurring income has real lifetime value. He technically has a business already that he could sell. He could sell that Chattanooga directory site for probably a nice multiple that would be into the six figures right now because it's generating that type of revenue on a monthly basis. So really cool system that he's built. Next person I'm going to bring on, Alexandra. Alex, he's down in Orlando. Let me see if I can grab you in here, Alex. There you are.
Hey, how's it going, Joe? You doing good?
Your fancy background. How you doing, man?
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm glad you're here, man. So you're in Orlando, right? Or the Orlando area?
Orlando, Florida. Yep.
Orlando, Florida. So is it just as crazy there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just as crazy, pretty much everywhere. If you turn on the news, you think the world's going to end tomorrow. So I try not to
turn on the news
myself with too much of everything going on. But yeah, pretty much the same as what's going on.
This is the new news.
Yeah.
This is the new news. So I see some comments here. Andrew said, "Great work, Jeff." I'm learning how to show somebody's on here. So look, this is great work, Jeff. Look at this right here on. I love StreamYard because StreamYard has all these little fancy little things you can do. And I know you use Be Live, right? Was it you?
I have not actually used.
Was it you telling me that? I can't remember who was telling me yesterday they used Be Live. Was it? I can't remember. No, it was Jeff. It was Jeff that said he used Be Live. Same question for the QR code. What was the question, Stephen? Oh, do you use mini chat? Yeah, he did use mini chat for the chat flow. That was the question. And Jeff says, are you looking for a sales team or we can just share it? Yeah. So Yvonne says, Jeff, are you looking for a sales team or we can just share it? How can we help you grow? Great question. Jeff, put on there, tell him to PM you. And I know Jeff, I'm going to speak out of limb, will offer some sort of referral commission, and he does need sales help. Jeff's great at creating this type of stuff. His absolute best is not in sales yet, but I think if he just tells people what this does, that's enough to sell it. Okay, there we go. All right, Alex. So Alex did a very similar thing that Jeff did. but added his own unique twist and dynamics and creativity to it, which I love. Now, I am going to add the disclaimer that both, unlike Corey, who does not really have any technical chops, no offense, Corey, but you're a little more like me in that way. Jeff and Alex both do like to geek out a little bit on WordPress and some of the technology, the chatbot stuff. But that stuff can be outsourced to somebody else or to them. I mean, outsource it to them. If you're really stuck on it, these guys will give you, hey, we're going through tough times deal, but they're still going to charge you to do it for them, or at least point you in the right direction. So don't be afraid to reach out. So Alex, why don't you share a little bit about you, kind of what your business is, and then what you recently created, which also the cool part, Alex, is, and I've said this to you on our private calls, I think it's cool that you guys are doing this stuff in the midst of what's going on, which that's the part I applaud you guys on. So go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I've been in the marketing field for most of the past 10 years. And then a couple years back, decided to actually start my own agency. And then I went full time with it last year, which has been a good shift, and definitely your coaching and your mentorship has been really helpful. So I appreciate. Just want to say a thank you to you for that. So really, what we focus on are we help a lot of more like the home improvement niche contractors. We do a lot of lead generation systems, sales funnels, and then also websites for businesses, whether it's e-commerce or whether it's local businesses, whatever is needed. So right now we're a little bit more broad, but we've got a couple different industries that we focus on primarily.
Okay, so when did you get the idea for what you recently created? And I'm going to try and pull that up too on my tab while you're talking about it here.
Yeah, absolutely. So really, I think it was based off of what you had said. Was, it's like what I have and what you'll see in just a second. There's some overlap to what Jeff was doing. It's just a couple different variations. Could be used for different industries. Is actually based a little bit more on the text message marketing piece of it.
But when you saw Jeff create this in our kind of private coaching group, that inspired you, and you just, like anybody else watching this, you just went and did something about it.
Absolutely. And
you overlook that and take that for granted. But I know if somebody's watching this right now and they go, I don't know if I can do that. You went, I'm going to figure out how to do that. But I'm going to add my own unique twist, which was where you just left off, more focused on the text marketing aspect, which I think is maybe the strongest part of both of these systems in addition to the email piece. And I'll share the screen now while you continue.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, text message marketing has a 98% open rate. When was the last time you got a text message and didn't open it? It's very rare. So that's really what kind of that power, the power of it is. So really what it is it's system that it's basically taking a couple different systems that I have, and it's essentially combining it into one easily managed system for an end user. So it could be, for example, could be for realtors, could be for restaurants, could be for small businesses, contractors, anyone that really wants to engage with their customers and their prospects in under literally 2 minutes.
Awesome. So can you walk people through how a business would benefit from this system, and how you would offer or sell it to them, and what makes it kind of like a product for you? Other than the fact that you named it something, which I love. I love the name, Reply Leads. Was that available for like $10?
It was, yes.
Yeah,
I did my research.
I love common sense, easy to remember domain names that no one's thought of or purchased. Like, to me, that's an art and skill in of itself. And Reply Leads, it's like, what's one of the problems that a lot of contractors and home improvement people, dentist offices, what do they have a problem with replying in a timely manner to incoming leads, particularly when agencies create it for them. And that's a problem you identified. I'll let you take it from there for how you came up with this.
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said, it is really just taking my knowledge and what I know and just thinking, how can I package it together? If you're on this call, you're probably familiar with, sales funnels, and you're probably familiar with click funnels and maybe lead pages and WordPress. And, you have an idea that there's all of this stuff exists, but you're not really sure like how to like. There's so many different ways to do it. So I was thinking, well, what's the most like what are the solutions that need to be solved? And that was really what where I started. And I figured I really came it down, or I really narrowed it down to three main things that the software does. And what it is number one is it's following up with a lead in literally under 2 minutes. So essentially you can literally, from the time that you were to submit a lead. So for example, someone goes to your website and they fill out their contact information. This system, you can actually have it connect you to the lead in under 2 minutes. So think about that. So many businesses, they wait hours, days, and there's even, I think, a statistic, it's like 20% of people that fill out a contact form don't even get a reply back. That's crazy. These are people that are spending money advertising, they're spending money promoting, and 20% of people they just don't get around to calling a lead back. That's crazy. So I figured, how can we solve that to essentially, and I don't know if we're going to do the demo in here. If not, then but basically,
I think it'd be cool to do it, but we don't want everybody calling at the same time. But walk people through what it does. Keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the one thing. So imagine you fill out a form, and then all of a sudden on your phone, literally a minute later, you're actually connected with that person.
When you say connected, you mean on a phone call?
Absolutely. So you'll get a phone call. You, Joe, being the contractor, let's say, you'll get a call that says, "Hey, you have a new lead. Press 1 to be connected."
So it's an automated notification via the phone. I could be in the middle of doing something. It's like, but what if I say no, I don't want to be connected? It'll send them to a voice or not. We just won't call them, right?
Correct. It won't call them. And there's a couple of different rules you can set up if you want it to then go to voicemail, or if you want it to then follow up with you later.
Here's something I say all the time in my sales training programs and in my courses is that time kills all deals. Okay. Time kills all deals. So somebody comes on your site. This is actually something everybody watching probably could use on their own site, but somebody comes on your site, or let's say on one of your client sites. In his case, he saw it as a need for the home improvement, home remodeling people. They're busy contractors. They're not that technical either sometimes. So like having them go and search for a lead in an inbox or on a spreadsheet, or if you're using Zapier to go to a Google sheet, that's like asking them, to write a book on rocket science. But having a text or a phone call go right to their mobile phone and say, "Hey, you've got somebody who requested information right now, or a quote," there isn't anything better. That's pretty cool.
Absolutely. And then, so that's one of the pieces. And then it also allows you to set up different campaigns. So you can text someone right now. They get a text tomorrow, the next day. You can set up, different reminders for people. And then you can also even set up a rewards program if you wanted, to where essentially let's say like a restaurant or a wine bar, or anybody that has repeat customers, it could be even like a laundromat, or I say more of a dry cleaning service kind of thing, to where you can essentially have them essentially text a word to get a discount right then. And then what will happen is it will, you can actually send out notifications and be like, "Hey, come on in, this Tuesday for, a free appetizer," or "Come on in for, 10% off your dry cleaning today," whatever it is. So really, those are the main pieces of it. And then right now we're still kind of in the beta launch of it. So we're essentially also adding.
You made it like a week ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I met you in January. This wasn't even something you had thought of yet, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the reason why I'm pointing that out is there's a lot of people who might watch this or watch the recording of this who'd go, "Man, this looks like a lot of work," or "This is going to take me a long time to set up." No, there's lots of text marketing companies that have reseller programs. You can, and white label programs. You can just type in SMS text marketing white label program into Google and find ones. You can start, and all you did now, again, like I gave the disclaimer, you do have some design chops, but how long did it take you to put together this site to explain the value that you add?
Yeah. So once I kind of mapped everything out about what I want the services to be, I mean, for me, this was about a day project to put everything together.
Yeah. Yeah, a day project. No, some people, I don't know what you're spending your days doing, everyone, but if it's not planning forward with ways that you can add value in creative, unique ways, Yvonne says it's genius. Then what are you doing with your time? I'm watching what's it called? The King, the Tiger King. Tiger King. Don't do it. You'll go down a rabbit hole for like 7 episodes. I love that. So Nadine does this dope stuff.
And if you want to actually, I don't know if you wanted to show that demo there. People can still get a text message to kind of see how that works.
All right. So where do I go to show to go up, right?
Yeah. So you actually go to, I put it here in the chat for you, Joe.
Schedule demo.
No, you actually just, do you see the chat here that I have? If not, I can give you the URL.
Yeah. Well, do I see it? I don't see it. What chat are you putting it in?
There's the private chat right here. If not.
Hold on. Where's our private? There it is. Sorry. I have to learn how to use this. So what do I do? Do I pull that up?
Yeah. So you just pull that up and it'll have a place where what you can do when you're watching this, you can actually get home. Just go ahead and text the word demo to the number that will appear on the screen.
There it is.
And you'll actually get a feel for how it works. You'll get an automated reply back. And then technically, if you reply back to that with what's on there, you can actually be connected to me in real time. Maybe we'll take one person on here just to show you how it works. But everyone can text this just to kind of get an idea of how you're going to get a text message back in probably 20 seconds.
Yeah, everybody. I mean, anybody here who wants to see this system in action, text demo to 407-250-7425. Excuse me.
Yeah, and then essentially what will happen is this puts you on a list on the back end, and then don't worry, I'm not going to be sending you guys a ton of messages, but technically I can then set up a campaign to where 1 hour later I can say, hey, how did you like your how was your service here at your
Can you segment it? Can you segment it as well?
Yeah, there's a couple different options. You can segment, yeah.
Yeah, super cool.
So based off of them replying. So yeah, check that out, and then definitely kind of get a feel for how that works. And if you scroll down on the page, you'll just kind of see just 2 more little use cases, kind of like here as well, or what you can essentially, and you can test these as well. You can text to the same number, either VIP or wine. So like imagine if you're going to over to, like I said, like a dry cleaner, you're going to a place to eat. You can essentially get a discount right away by texting this, and essentially you'll get a notification that says, "Hey, here's your coupon. Make sure to use it now." And then that way, the restaurant's able to keep in touch with you for a while.
So what I like, Alex, is that in the midst of crisis, and also knowing the way that you might have been marketing your agency services or your digital consulting services, everything changed, when the world changed because of the shutdown and the quarantine and the social distancing and everything being shut off. It's like now we have to approach customers differently. Mm-hmm. And also, though, you have to look at your own business and say, if right now people aren't going to be at their, in my particular niche, so you're getting a phone call.
So someone right now is actually connected. So I don't know. We'll see who this is. A new demo lead. Press 1 to be connected.
Please press 1 to talk to the lead.
To talk to the lead.
When I press 1,
and somebody's phone's gonna ring.
Someone that's watching this right now's phone's ring. I'm gonna hang up, but you get the idea of how that works.
Super cool. I love it. But going back, so in the midst of all this, instead of like you turtling, what I call turtling up, going into a turtle shell and, oh, why me, and pity me, and I'm not going to be able to get the type of clients I was normally looking to get, and now everything's changing. Oh, that was Andrew. Andrew, who is a brilliant marketer in his own right, back in the great state of Iowa and Des Moines. One of the first people that really inspired me to blog back in the early days of One Social Media, which turned into Revenue Inbound. Good to see you here, Andrew. The way that you said, hey, I'm not going to just like fold my cards. And I said at the beginning of this, it's not about the cards you're dealt. It's how you end up playing the cards. You know, you went, hey, these are the cards I have right now. What can I do? You saw some of what Jeff was doing. You already knew and understood the concept of sales funnels and marketing funnels. Found your, you know, you could be adding chatbot to this because you know chatbots, and you could be adding all these other things. But right now, this is a powerful product that you have. And Andrew says, he says, brilliant. So I think it's cool what you've done, and it's inspiring what all of you guys have done. Let me how do I stop the screen here? Hold on. Let's go back to our thing here. We got Jeff. I don't know if Corey, if you're back in here or not. If you're still in here, I'll bring you on. We can do some Q&A. You guys up for it?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hey, Jeff, you're back.
Yeah. Keep sneaking up on me.
I just want one of these shirts. Hey, there's Corey. Look at this.
Hey guys.
The band's all here. Another thing that I'm doing, I was going to have it to demo. I'm going to wait though, is I'm creating a, for people who don't have maybe the resources, either they don't have the skill sets or they don't have the financial resources to pay or outsource having their marketing websites, their marketing agency or consulting sites done very inexpensively, out of the box, templated marketing agency sites. It's called marketing agency sites. Will be released soon. And it's a way for me to offer a product to agency owners and consultants that's purposeful around generating leads. Might have to incorporate a couple of things that you guys just showed off today, but it is in development. It is a way I'm also adding another product into the marketplace. In addition to, I know some people might have saw this and go, well, what about doing courses, Joe? That's actually not as hard as you think. Everybody here could turn their service into a course. If you offer Facebook marketing services, or you offer blogging services, or you offer content marketing, you probably could put that knowledge into the form of an online course or program and sell that, for a reasonable fee, but maybe lower than what somebody ever would invest in your marketing agency services. So you're kind of helping them, but you're also still building some profit and revenue for yourself. Right now, I wanted to show 3 examples of different types of ways to productize your service, and hopefully we accomplish that. What questions do you guys have for these guys? So Nadeem says, let's pull up the question right here. What business would you market to right now? Barbershops, tax offices, restaurants? Well, that's a loaded question. I'll take first stab at this, but my answer to that would be to identify what businesses either need help and still have some budget, or they would need help and you'd be willing to defer their payment to you, or go after some industries and businesses that are very much alive and well. So for example, I have a gentleman who's in my mastermind group, and he has ED doctors, erectile dysfunction doctors, as clients. And he says they're spending more money on ads right now more than ever because their clientele, they're men, they're at home, and I can get in front of them with ads. And so his clients are spending more money on advertising right now. So you have to, barber shops, I wouldn't go after right now because I don't think anyone's going to the barber, for example. So I think you have to figure out and pick your spots, but there's plenty of businesses, and restaurants are one of them, that need help right now. You may have to do things differently. You may have to charge differently right now. You may say, listen, I'm going to charge you half of my fee right now. We'll spread out the next 2 months of fees that I reduced, and over the next 6 months that we work together. But right now I can kind of help. I can still help you without charging full fees because you're not able to collect full revenues in. So that's one way to be able to do it, as an example. And let's take another question. So ask questions like, what's appropriate for a webinar or productize service or productize services to be exact? So Andrea, what I would say is, whatever your service is, you probably could turn into some sort of product. So if you sold, let's say, for example, that you sell video marketing services normally, and that you go in, help clients with video. Instead, create a program teaching clients how to do that for themselves right now. Right. So, I have a gentleman that I'm friends with who all of a sudden the need to learn how to do live streaming is at an all-time high. And he had a product already that he really wasn't actively selling on how to do live streaming. Well, suddenly it's like, now that's a much needed product. You might want to go into over promotion mode to start offering that to people when it's so needed. Nadeem says, dope ideas with the charging of fees. Amazing ideas. Okay, so let's go to Andrew says, to the entire group, what percentage of your production is outsourced versus done in-house, web dev, SMS, etc.? So we'd all probably be all across the board with that. You guys want to take a shot at that? I know you three, so I know you guys do. I know that. Let's take Corey. Corey, I know you outsource some of this stuff. What percentage for you?
Yeah, I'm a big fan on outsourcing everything. Like I don't do everything. I approve posts and do all that. The website, the hosting, the logos, any of the animation videos, and any of that type of stuff. It's all through Fiverr, and it saved me a ton of money that way, like thousands of dollars. So outsource if you can, And I have a bunch of names if you want those names, those vendors. And
Jeff, do you outsource? You outsource some?
Yeah, a little bit. Basically, my philosophy: if I can't figure it out in 5 minutes, I'll just have someone else do it. So
I like that.
I have a guy on hand that he's in Bangladesh, and he's been working for me for literally the past 4 years, and he's my go-to guy. Like I talk to him literally every day. So
he's in Bangladesh.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, his name's Mehdi, and we go way back. So he's a good dude.
Awesome. And we have people Philippines, India, and other places in the US, but the outsourcing is not difficult. What's difficult is finding a good one that you want to stick with for a long time. So I always say, when you're identifying an outsourcer for something that's going to be a long-term task, they're going to be doing for you over and over. And I'm not the master at this. I know I have Jennifer, who was on here earlier, is going to have a course on outsourcing soon and how to use a VA. But give them a task first, and if they can accomplish that and do that well, that might be something you bring on. But for the stuff like what Corey said, logo stuff, video stuff, man, that's just quick, outsourced, done, and he's using Fiverr to do it, which is awesome. Now, Alex, are you outsourcing anything, or are you doing everything?
Yeah, so I'll just mention one thing. It's really about working on the business or in the business. If you look at these big companies, the CEO isn't the one that's doing everything. They're working on the business, not in it. I also like to look at us kind of like a housing contractor. The contractor themselves is not the one that's actually building the house. They're not physically laying the bricks, but they know who they need to be bringing on board to do those particular things. So sometimes it's easier said than done, because I'm very detail oriented and I can do a lot of the things, but those are kind of those two principles are something I try to live by on a regular basis.
Awesome. So, I know we're going kind of long here. So we've shown, for those of you guys got on here late, some people got on here late. I could see some of the views that came up as we got going. Corey spent the first part of the call sharing ideas for how he created initially his Facebook group, and then created a directory site business that generates close in the neighborhood of $9,000 a month if you count some of the annual subscriptions that he would factor in. Jeff shared how he created an app uniquely to service his action sports industry. Then he had a pivot and created something similar, calling it carryoutrewards.com for restaurants. Really cool product that I think is needed right now for every single restaurant. Actually, all of your guys' services are needed right now. Alex, in the last week, essentially created replyleads.com as a answer to a glaring problem of businesses, including his niche, which is home improvement specialists, home remodeling specialists, and so on, contractors who don't respond in a timely manner to leads because of the way the lead systems are typically set up and because of their behavior. So all very cool. So if you guys think this was cool, drop some comments down here. So these guys know you appreciate their time getting on here. I appreciate you guys getting on here live with me and talking about productizing your business. Every day I'm going to start going live and talking about different topics if everybody would like that. We'll keep diving deeper in these subjects. This is a little longer live than I normally want to be doing, but I knew this one was going to be a big one to start off with.
Can I say one more thing, Joe?
Yeah, and then we'll take maybe a couple more questions here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you guys probably know enough to get started. There's like, for example, all of these things, like for example, you were saying, okay, yeah, I put the system together in a week, and technically I did, but it was taking everything that I already knew and then just putting it into a system. So I just want to encourage people to realize it's, you probably have something you've been doing for years, that you could just, if you just figured out, like, how is it going to benefit somebody? Really think about what problems does this solve? And then, so it's not really, you're not really inventing anything new. You're just taking what you currently know and packaging it into something.
Great point. Because people will get stuck in the details. They'll get stuck in their belief systems, the stories they'll tell themselves that, these guys have, all this technical talent. Corey just proved to you that he doesn't. He just outsources it to people who do. You don't have to have. I mean, when I started my business, our first, 40 to 60 clients were completely outsourced. We started hiring internal people then. When it started to get to be a mess, we needed more internal people doing the work. But you can definitely outsource most everything, except for the client-facing stuff when they're buying you and the problem you're solving. Cynthia, thanks for being on here. She says, always a pleasure to learn more. Gerson said, of the industries you service, which ones seem to be unaffected by COVID-19? I'll tell you, one would be the e-commerce businesses. So, health supplements. If you start looking at, there's actually a really cool, let me show you guys something real cool that's pretty neat. It's I'll drop the link in the chat here. I shared this with my mastermind group. I'm just going to share it here with everybody. This is a way of looking at existing opportunities. If you stuck around for this live, you're going to be really glad that you did. Let me share my screen real quick so you can see what I'm reviewing with you. This COVID-19 consumer impact tracker is super cool. It shows you products and consumer trends that are being impacted favorably by COVID-19. So like blue light glasses are on an all-time high, and of course DIY haircuts. So if I'm a stylist or a salon, if I was a local stylist or salon, I'd be going Facebook Live showing people little tricks, life hacks for being able to cut their own hair or their kids' hair. Moms right now are freaking out. They don't know how to cut their kids' hair. They're scared to do it. My hair isn't getting any shorter. Online search is up, resistant bands. You guys can see my screen here as I go. Sidewalk chalk. By the way, it's up 4,200% because kids are home. My sidewalk chalk that I ordered from Amazon is on another week delay right now. They said, sorry, it's a week, another delay. And I'm like, what the heck? Is everyone ordering sidewalk chalk? Guess what? Yesterday, we had a contractor over at our house painting our front pillars in front of our home. Now, some of you go, Joe, you've got 7 kids in the home, 16 and under. Can't your kids go out there and paint and get them a little work? The answer is yes. But I found a contractor who has 3 kids under the age of 10, and he's not getting a lot of work right now. And I said to the kids, I said, let's help this family out. Let's pay somebody to do this for us right now. So we have the means to do it, and it'll really go a long way with that family. So, and I taught them that as a lesson. So I'll give you guys chores. Don't worry. It just won't be painting. Paintbrushes are up. I mean, I could go on, and you get cigarette delivery. If I'd only known, I'd gotten into the cigarette delivery business. So these are different types of businesses. I've dropped the link inside for you guys here. That is an incredible resource I just shared to help you think differently about opportunity that exists so you don't dwell on businesses that aren't buying. Okay. So my wife's business if you saw my Instagram story, I'm at Joseph Soto on Instagram. Go check out my story. I did a picture of my wife today, and she was in her office, and she's fulfilling hundreds of orders a day right now. And she has an e-commerce business it's Girly Boutique, BOW.com, Girly Boutique. But she has all these deal sites, and she has all these people who came to her as a wholesaler saying, we need elastic right now. Well, my wife, because all these fabric stores are closed right now, and my wife happened to have, not really to our delight, or 3 weeks ago or a year ago, over 6 figures, I think, retail in elastic inventory in our home. We don't do drop shipping. We don't drop ship to out of the country or anything else. It's all in the house shipping. Some of our materials in the past, of course, have come from places like China. But at the end of the day, we had all this inventory of elastic because she uses it for her headbands and different things. And now people are using it for masks. And then yesterday, I was down in her office, which is in our basement, and she says, you see these headbands, that go around your head and they hold you up. She said, well, right now, one of the problems is people's elastic hurts their ears. And so people are, she's like, so what we're doing is we're telling people to take the headbands, sew buttons on the side of the headbands by the ear, and they wrap the elastic to hold the mask on around the headband that fits comfortably on their head. Brilliant. Now, all of a sudden, you have a market for headbands. You guys get it? So, e-commerce is probably the one area that's really taking off right now. And that also means online courses, productizing something and putting it online that can help a business that you serve, that you wouldn't think to do that before. Maybe you go, well, they're not going to pay my premium agency pricing or services right now, but they would pay to learn how to do some of it for themselves while they have the time or are stuck at home, so they could come out the other side of this thriving, not just surviving.
Hey, Joe, it's Corey. I'd like to add
there's a rant. Bulk ammo. Yeah. Andrew says bulk ammo's on the rise. He's right.
Yeah. Right now, I've seen an uptick in therapists that are doing the virtual therapy. And you could sell into them. They're making a killing. We've got a lot of therapists in the Facebook group that I have. And what they're seeing is married couples that are kind of each other's throats because they're with each other so much. They're needing the therapy, so they do it together at home where it's safe. But their business is incredible. So if you sell into therapists and people like that, it could be an opportunity.
That's right. I mean, exactly. We had if you recall, Al in our private coaching group, his mom was a therapist, and he said it hadn't even dawned on her. It doesn't even occur to some of these counselors or therapists that they could deliver help virtually. Teledocs, telemedicine, going to be on the rise. Dr. Holt, who was on here earlier, shared with me that all the restrictions around telemedicine, the compliance issues have been lifted, so doctors can consult, and now they have virtual waiting rooms. So that's going to be part of the new normal in the future as well. I had a gentleman who owns he's a manufacturer's rep up in Wisconsin, and he said, Joe, normally, because our clients, they buy $50,000 to $500,000 machines from us for their manufacturing plants and facilities. And when we sell one and we onboard them, the salesperson goes to be there to help. And then I drive there as the president of the company to onboard them, kind of welcome them to our company because they're big ticket sales, obviously. He said, I would normally have drove to this customer an hour and a half. And then my sales rep would have drove an hour and a half, almost like in a triangle because of where they're located in Wisconsin. He goes, we did it all online. I showed a PowerPoint share screen through Zoom. We had never really used Zoom for this type of work before. And within 30 minutes, we went through this onboarding document, and they were super happy. They were glad to see us face to face, even virtually. He goes, that's the new normal. I don't know that I'd be spending money on gas and time and energy and all the expenses that go along with stipend for your salespeople. This is forcing people's hand into a digital economy like we've never seen. And that's pretty cool. You guys, was that the opportunity trends? Was that pretty cool to see? You can search that by categories, by the way. and I would really encourage anyone, I don't care, anyone, to, my wife and I are brainstorming a couple other new e-commerce businesses. We're just also trying to figure out homeschooling in the home all of a sudden. And I'm running 2 different businesses from home. She's running a couple different areas of her business now. Plus we're trying to be good parents, of course. Thank God we have some older kids in the home that have been helping us with some of the little ones, because we're used to having people help with our children. That's been a challenge. But you just make it work. What we're not doing is binging on Netflix and every other show that's out there that apparently people are, I think we bought the Trolls for the kids to rent the other day because Trolls 2 came out, World Tour. Some of you guys can't relate. But that was a big deal for us. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap it up, guys. We've gone an hour and a half. If this was valuable to you, give us a thumbs up in the chat. Thanks for being on here. If you want to see me do more of these Facebook Lives, let me know, because if I don't get the feedback, then I'll probably focus on other things. But I do want to help and add value. Corey, Alex, Jeff, you guys are rock stars. Thanks for being on here, man.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
I appreciate you guys getting on. And for those of you who've been on here this whole time and asking questions and engaging, much appreciation. Ben says just hopping on. Looks like the dream team. Ben, you got to come back and watch it from the beginning, what these guys went through and shared. Very cool. Brett, appreciate you, man. Brett's part of the mastermind. Ben's part of the mastermind. Love you guys, and hope to see you guys soon. Cam, thank you. Thanks for being on here, brother. We'll see you guys on another live. I'm going to be on here actually every day. Cynthia says, haven't even had time to watch TV. Of course not. You're the number 1 salesperson in your company, and you are helping other people in other ways as a new life coach. Cynthia, go get them. All right, everyone. Rock and roll. Thanks again for watching.